Hello again, it's Jesse coming at you alive, pre-recorded, and heavily edited from Australia. I'm finally down under again, and now that I'm here, I have to quit what I'm the best at and start doing what I hate. But it's what I came here to do, so I will try my best. The plane ride over was uncomfortable to say the least, but on the 14-hour flight, I did have a middle seat with a lot of leg room. I spent that time trying to sleep and also watching some Aussie-based movies to prepare. One of those movies was The Surfer, starring Nicolas Cage. The Surfer is an intensely color-graded film in which Nicolas Cage tries to surf but is then relentlessly bullied by a gang of finance bros called the Bay Boys.
I grew up here. Don't live here. Don't surf here.
When I say bully, I'm being a little light on them. I mean, these middle-aged men in towel dresses really hate Nick Cage. They steal his surfboard, his car, his wedding ring, his dignity, all while gaslighting him with zero hesitation.
No, my father gave me that board.
I can tell you myself, that old board's been up there for as long as I can remember.
She's a beaut, isn't she?
Nick Cage is given every single opportunity to leave this cursed cult-like beach, but he stays every single time and is driven to the brink of insanity. It is a ridiculous watch, and I don't know that Nick Cage was even a sane person going into this movie. I also started watching Crocodile Dundee, which I can assure you is an informational documentary and is completely accurate to how all Australians are.
2 beers, all right? One for me, one for me, mate.
Once we finally landed, we hopped in the Subaru and drove down the coast, making a stop in Wollongong, which is a really beautiful coast town where we took a nice beach walk. So we also went to the Cricket Hall of Fame, and false advertising, there were straight up no crickets in the building, and it turns out that cricket is actually a sport where it's basically just baseball for weirdos, where you hit the ball with a charcuterie board and then run the bases, except there's only one base and it's not even a base, it's like a weird little horseshoe in the ground. In Canberra, we began to prep me with supplies. A trip to Costco left me with all of the sustenance I could possibly need. Banana bread, PB&J, crackers, and 23 cans of tennis balls. Over the weekend when we went to Jillamatong, my dad and I had the luxury of riding on a Murray's coach bus. Comfort, professionalism, status. My host family, the Landeds, met us there. It was really wild being back here because I just remember everything so vividly, and it just feels like deja vu wherever I go. The weekend was spent building fences and wrangling heifers from up the mountain. Martin had purposefully put them up in a place where there was a lot sparser grass and where it was much tougher terrain so that these cows would get more exercise but also lose some weight or just eat less, so that when the calf was coming out, they would have easier of a time because it would be smaller.
Right now we're on the hilly side of Jillamatong. This right here is one of the fences that we made. It's a smiley face shaped mound. That mound, its purpose is that it catches all of the nutrients and water that flows down the hill here, and that makes it a really great spot for where we planted these kurrajongs, which are a water-based tree, which means they're very good for fire, very resistant to the bushfires that happen here on Jillamatong.
On Sunday, we took the hour-and-a-half drive back to Canberra. Max was asleep before he even hit the seat. Okay, little intermission here. Sorry for the long video. It was a really big week. A lot of good stuff happened. Just shut up and listen. Stop whining about it, okay? Okay, Thomas. Fun little fact. Did you know that in Australia there's a different kind of word for gingers, okay? Here that they're called rangers. So you'd be like, oi, ranga. And that is in reference to their orange hair being similar to that of an orangutan. Also, here in Australia, in November, there is a national, federally recognized holiday called Kick-A-Ranger Day. And what you do on Kick-A-Ranger Day is you kick a ginger. And primary school kids or elementary school kids, what they'll do is they'll take all of the like gingers and they'll play something called Ranger Roundup, and they'll basically just shove them in between goalposts and trap them there so that they can't get out. All right, so Monday the 14th, I go out. I'm doing some of my due diligence, and I go out to check the dog's water bowl, and there's a little bit of fuzz in it. So I decide I'm going to clean it out, and I pour it over the edge of the balcony, and I look down, and I see a possum just lying there. It looks like it's dead, and I'm kind of freaked out. So I go down, I check it out, and it's still breathing, fine, but it's like got like vomit on it and stuff. And so I call my dad out. He calls Carla because one, it's her house. She knows more about, the wild animals in the area, and she's also a nurse. So she comes. She's on her way. And we were afraid to touch this possum, but she just comes. She scoops it up and swaddles it, and calls her friend, who happens to be like a wildlife like rescue person and lives just like a couple doors down. And so we decided that we're gonna bring the possum to her, and so I'm holding this like little possum. It's like we walk over, and when we go in, we show the possum to her. She says, "Oh yeah, it's been poison. That's like rat poison, basically." While we're there, she actually has this little swamp joey in like a pack and play. It's like so tiny, and she also shows us this day old possum that is just like these animals are just like the cutest things I've ever seen or held, and it was so adorable. Anyway, we then took the possum and we brought it to the vet, which is just like 2 kilometers away, and they took it in for free. And I don't really know what happened to the possum after that, but hopefully it is back out in the wild and healthy. Cut to Tuesday the 14th. I was headed to school, but I was just so darn nervous. Who wouldn't be? I was scared that the other kids would make fun of me for taking the bus and not riding a kangaroo to school like them. I wasn't even sure if I had the proper school supplies. The Big W, Australian Walmart, didn't even sell boomerangs. Despite my valid concerns, I actually did have a really good time. This week was really fun, and I made a lot of good friends. I would also like to say thank you to everyone at Canberra College for making me feel so welcome here. I've definitely gotten a variety of reactions being an American in an Australian school. The most common of which being, without fail, every single time someone asks me where I'm from, I'll say Rhode Island, and they will always then ask me, like, is that in New York? Is that next to New York? Is that near New York? It seems like the main place and landmark that Australians know of in America is New York. I think that they think that maybe is all of America. The other most common one is just people will stop and point at me like I'm an animal from a zoo and say, "Oh, look, it's the American." And if I had a nickel for every single time, or really more aptly, if I had an Australian dollar to do for every single time someone found out I was American and then asked me if I watched The Sopranos, I would have 2 Australian dollar dues, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice. Also, my advisor here at Canberra College is really cool. Her name is Emma Kate, and while no one can fully compare to Justin back home, of course,
Public policy means to me
I think she does come pretty close. I mean, she has a doctorate in physics, which is awesome and will be very helpful and already has been very helpful to me, because at Canberra College I've started auditing a physics class alongside the mainstream calculus class that I'm taking there. EK has already helped me in that she's connected me with Roman, another student in my class, who actually also specializes in videography. And while he does mostly short films, we are going to collaborate on a project together, a short film that I have written, currently named Banana, but that is subject to change. I'm really excited to do this sort of different kind of filmmaking, and I think it's going to be really cool. Thank you all for continuing to tune in while I do my foreign exchange, and a special shout out to the Wakefield Wusses/Warriors back home, especially Zayasia, for continuously needling me every single day before I left about my packing. I finally did it, and it was very last minute, but thank you.